with who I am. I'm Ykim. I'm a paralegal. I did over 30 years in and out of prison. I learned the law in prison, and I exercised it on the street. That's my brother right there. That's the T.
Peace.
Ty. That's T.A. He gonna tell you brief about him.
Peace. That my name is T.A. I had life in prison. But first, let me take you back to the beginning.
As long as it's short.
I started doing crime when I was 10, 11 years old.
Right.
You know, and it constantly elevated from one degree of felony to another. When I was 26 years old, I was given life in prison. I went
For
to
what?
jail. And I bullshitted for the first 4 or 5 years until someone told me that I had a special gift. They watched me. I didn't know what they were saying when they said they watched me. They sent me to the law library, and it took me a minute to catch on, but I caught on, and I was able to get others out and myself. I came home when I was 37 years old. Since I've been home, I've worked with lawyers. I've gotten, I don't know how many people out. I don't know how many people I've helped to stay out and beat their cases. What I want to give to y'all is some free knowledge, something that you can't get nowhere else. You know, excuse me. The law is a valuable tool. It can teach you critical and consequential thinking. You know,
And if you knew what,
if you knew better, you
what?
would do better.
Yes, sir.
You know, and throughout the show, it's something that I want to practice. Is when my brother's talking, I'm not going to say nothing, and I want that same courtesy.
You got it.
Right now, what we're going to do is take y'all through the first 5 amendments. They're very important. There's certain amendments that I truly believe people of color need to know. That's the first, the second, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 14th. And I'm going to break all them down as we go through this here.
See, you left out the second, which is important.
I didn't leave the second out. I said it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead and read the First Amendment.
Peace. This is Ykim, the Y in the tie of the Law Library with Ty. We're here with Polo at the studio. Y'all come holler at him. We give you the information at the end of the story. But right now, what I'm going to do is read articles in addition to an amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America proposed by Congress and ratified, meaning everybody agreed to it, by the several states. At that time, there was not really 50 states. So, pursuant to the 5th article of the original Constitution, here's what it says. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging, meaning blocking, the freedom of speech. This is your First Amendment. Or the press, meaning the press has the right to say what they want, and so do you. All right. Or the right of the people peacefully to assemble, meaning like when George Floyd and different other people of color was killed, you could assemble, not riot, but assemble and protest the government. All right. And to petition the government for redress. I just said that, of grievances. All right. So, and I want to get this out the way. That's the First Amendment. The Second Amendment is...
No, slow down, bro.
I'm going too fast?
Let's give them examples
of the First
what
Amendment.
the First Amendment is.
Okay.
The first case dealing with religion was in 1799.
1799.
That's the first case when
200-something
they
years
dealt with
ago.
religion of the First Amendment.
Who was the party?
Now, I'm going to bring... It was Renko versus Wise Miller.
Okay, so Renko is who? The petitioner?
No, his name was Renkel.
Renkel.
Runkel.
Y'all could Google
versus
this.
Wise Miller. You don't have to take my word that you.
I just told him.
That's why I spelt it for him.
All right, go ahead.
Now, to bring you up to date, The City of Austin versus Reagan National Advertisement of Austin overturned, the Supreme Court overturned a lower court who tried to violate a person's freedom of speech.
The Supreme Court?
The Supreme Court overturned.
Of the United States?
Bro, please.
Because I'm going to say what's going on now with that Roe versus Wade.
Let's
All right,
stop.
go ahead. Roe versus Wade.
That if I say Supreme Court, then you know what I'm saying.
All right, they got one of the
right.
queens too.
All right? No, they don't. That we're talking about the Supreme Court of
the United
States.
All right, go. Now we got it.
All right? And when it comes to religion, which also the First Amendment governs, in Ramirez versus Collier, the Supreme Court overturned a district court and appeals court when they violated a prisoner's religion right.
How?
The prisoner wanted the reverend to come in and pray over him and touch him.
He was
The
on death row?
district court and the Court of Appeals said you can't do that. The Supreme Court said no, he can do that because he has a right to choose his own religion.
And if that's the practice,
That's
that's the practice.
part of the First Amendment.
Right, go ahead.
In the third case, this is Mahoney Area School District versus BL. This case dealt with a student's right, internet and social media,
Internet?
which governs the press.
What year was that?
This was 2021.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Right? These cases I just told you was 2022, 2022, and 2021.
So that's new law.
Right.
Let's go.
This is up-to-date law,
Got it.
right?
Yeah.
And this is what people need to know.
Tell them.
That you have a right to say what you want and speak what you want. That you have a right. Now, and just let me break this last case down.
Go.
This was a student, a college student. And after she got out of school, she would go on to her social media and she would curse and say whatever she wanted to say.
Which was her right.
And the school said,
Censor them.
you can't do that.
They try to censor her, yeah.
She took him to court and she won,
Right.
right? And then the second case dealing with the prisoner's religion, right? The court said that a man has a right to his own religion. All this is governed in the First Amendment. The very first case I told you about violated a person's freedom of speech. The court says the City of Austin versus Reagan National Advertisement of Austin, 2022, overturned a lower court who tried to violate a person's freedom of speech.
Wow.
That's just the First Amendment. And what
Okay.
we're going to do is, as you read them,
Let's do it.
I'm going to give you cases.
That
And
match it.
believe me when I tell y'all this, that y'all can look up everything I say. That I'll spell the name out, word, letter by letter, and all you have to do is Google it, and it will come up.
Okay,
Go ahead.
go ahead. So where we at now?
The Second Amendment.
Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And let me just say this. We got a lot of killings. We got young kids getting weapons. The shooting in Buffalo was an 18-year-old white young male that I think his parents got him the gun. I don't want to implicate them because I don't know all the facts. I do know that black people was killed. If you don't have a record, and I'm saying this to people of color, if you don't have a record, please don't get no record. Why? Because it is my belief that in order to correct this system, we need you to get in law enforcement. There is absolutely nothing wrong with young, black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, Dominican, African, whoever you want to call yourself, people of color getting into law enforcement, bearing arms. You want to know why I say that? I say that simply because of this. I am so tired of the quote-unquote white boys just killing us, our people. get into law enforcement. Go to school, get your degree, get your license, go to law enforcement, and then you don't have to stay a cop. Once you become in law enforcement, you got a choice. You can spread out. You could be a lawyer. You could be a public defender. You could be a judge. You know what TV show I like right now? All Rise. So you could break the stereotype. We need our people in law enforcement.
Now, because I got a different version than you do on the Second Amendment, you don't have to join law enforcement to get a gun.
It's not an open carry state.
You don't have to join law enforcement to get
No.
a gun. If you're 21 years old of age in the state of New York,
Yeah, you could get a license.
without a record,
That's what I
you
just said.
can purchase a weapon. No, that's not what
Legally.
you said. You said join law enforcement.
Oh, yeah, I'm
You
sticking
don't
to that.
have to join law enforcement to purchase a weapon or get a license. If you're 21, you can get a license. And speaking about the white boy in Buffalo, if you're 18 years of age, you can purchase a shotgun or a rifle for hunting purposes.
So what he was doing, hunting black
So,
people?
I know that's what he did, but we're talking about the law.
Right.
Now, what a person does once they purchase these weapons,
Yeah.
we have no idea.
That's
But
the
we're-
problem.
But we're talking about the law.
Go ahead.
And the age requirements for the law.
Right. The law sets
See,
a minimum age, yeah, 18.
Because I truly believe 18 to purchase a rifle or a shotgun, 21 to purchase a handgun.
Do you
right?
think the gun dealer is going to make a difference at 18 if they come in
Listen, bro.
to a store
Bro,
to buy something?
Listen.
I'm just asking
We
you.
don't know what they're going to think. We're only giving them the law,
Go ahead.
right?
Yeah, I agree.
And now dealing with the Second Amendment, there have been 2 landmark cases, Supreme Court rulings on the Second Amendment. One in 2008, the Supreme Court, for the first time in almost 70 years, in a case named District of Columbia versus Heller,
SDC.
Heller,
District of Columbia versus Heller.
and McDonald versus the city of Chicago,
McDonald.
ruled in the Heller case an individual's right to keep handguns in their home for self-defense. Now, when
That always been the law.
no, it has not.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead.
No, it has not.
Yeah.
Show it to me.
You can have a weapon in your house to protect your property.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I did.
What did I say? In almost 70 years, this is
the Supreme
verbatim.
Court-
This is verbatim
Yeah.
from the Supreme Court.
Somebody
this is not
somebody
me
brought a
making this
case.
up.
Yeah, somebody-
This is not me making this up.
Somebody brought a case out. Yeah.
This is the Supreme Court.
I got it.
Justice Scalia, Antonio
Scalia.
Scalia. Thank you.
Right.
This is his words, bro.
Got it.
A United States Supreme Court justice.
Right.
He said in almost 70 years that they argued this.
Go ahead.
So this wasn't the law. 70 years prior to this ruling
I beg to
was
differ.
not the law, man.
I beg to differ.
Okay,
You
show it
can
to me.
always protect your
Listen to
home
me.
and your property
Show it to
with a
me.
weapon.
Show it to me. Google it.
I'm not-
Google it.
No, I'm not.
Google it.
No, I'm not.
So then don't tell me I'm wrong if you can't show
I
me
never
I'm
said
wrong.
you was wrong.
You
Go
said
ahead.
you disagree.
I do. Go ahead.
Show it to me.
That's not a sticking
Show
point.
it to
go,
me, bro.
Go.
In the McDonald versus the city of Chicago, they went back and revisited because the District of Columbia is a federal district. They
Right.
had to go back and rule on it as a state law.
It's called an enclave, the district.
I didn't see that.
D.C. is not a state.
It's a.
It's an enclave.
I just said
I ain't gonna argue with you. Go ahead.
that they had to, when it was the District of Columbia.
It still is.
It's federal law.
It is.
It is.
I said that.
I said that.
All right, then keep going.
You know, so it's real important that people know
The difference.
how to interpret things, man.
Okay.
You know.
District of Columbia is not a state. It's what's called a federal enclave. ENCLOVEN.
That's unclove.
Okay. I never said I was an expert. Enclave.
No.
It's privately protected by the federal government.
No, bro.
It's not the same as a city or a state.
Why?
I'm done. Yeah.
Listen to me.
What?
That you are saying you are an expert because we're on this podcast teaching. We're teaching.
I'm teaching the right to keep bear arms.
That we're teaching.
Probably guns. Go ahead. What?
You know.
Go ahead to the next one.
You know. No, that I really need to clarify something.
Okay, go back.
Right? That you and I had a conversation earlier.
We had a few.
I said I'm not going to overtalk you, so I don't want you to overtalk me because it's real important.
Zip it.
It's real important that when people say something, you have their full attention. Because when you say something, you want them to have your full attention.
All right, I'm quiet. I'm done. Go. Speak.
I'm not trying to overtalk you or anything like that. I'm trying to get a message out to our people. I'm
Do it.
trying to.
Go.
Can I talk, bro? I'm trying to teach. That's what we said we was going to do. Teach.
I'm down with that.
Bro, can we teach, man?
I just said I'm down.
Or
with that.
we can stop right now.
I'm down with that. What's the problem?
You keep going, man. Yo, this is serious business that we're doing, man.
I got stuff I want to read to.
This is serious business that we're doing, man. Let's teach, man. That's all I say to you. That you, my brother, regardless to whatever. But let's do it the right way. Let's teach, man. Now we at the Third Amendment.
This rarely applies. The Third Amendment of the United States Constitution says a well-regulated no soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner. Meaning, if we was at war like they doing in Russia and everything, you don't have to let soldiers in, not in America. So, no in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. So, what does that mean, to be prescribed by law? As of yet, I know of no laws that says if this country was actually in war, that you have to open your door to a soldier. So, we could go back to that. If you want to call us up or whatever, you contact Polo Station and ask that question. I'll get the phone number to y'all later. But right now, what it means is, if this country is at war, like they doing in Russia, soldiers could come in there and hide because the enemy is outside. Over here, no, you don't have to do that. And this was dealing with the Confederate and the Union during the Civil War. So that's when this part was written. All right? So
that part was written.
That's 3. Yeah.
When the Constitution was first written.
Yeah, George Ben Franklin.
This is an amendment that's very seldom violated.
Because we never have a war.
There's 2 cases that I know of.
You got them?
They right here.
Tell them.
This amendment doesn't get violated much. I know of 2 times that it has happened. One, the War of 1812, and Engelblum versus Kerry in 1983.
What's the site again? Engelblum versus Kerry.
ENGBLOM versus Kerry. CAREY.
All right, so if y'all want to look that up, you can. Go ahead.
That you can, right?
Go ahead.
It's been done twice since the Constitution was first wrote, because the Third Amendment was put in there when the Constitution was first wrote. Right? And this is something I need for people to know, right? Is this this Constitution was wrote over 245 years ago. I believe.
And we was
Something
not
like
included.
that. Something like that.
Right.
No, but the stuff we're telling them
Yeah.
is applicable today.
Oh, no question. Yeah.
Today, man.
It's a holy doctrine.
You know, this was tried the last time in 1983 when the National Guards came. I forgot what, I think it was the state of Maryland, but I'll revisit it to tell the people exactly where it happened at.
Okay.
The National Guard came and said, knocked on people's door, let us in. We hungry. We want to rest. People said, man, get the hell out of here and close the door. Right?
That's two-sided.
And then they got locked up for it. They got locked up for it.
The people who said no
Yeah. And the Supreme Court said their Third Amendment was
protects
violated.
them. Right.
They was violated.
So the case was thrown out.
Yeah, the case was thrown out.
Had to be.
You know, but the fact is they had to go to court for it. Remember in a show we did once before, I said even knowing these rights,
You still
your
can get
rights
violated.
still can be violated.
Yeah, I do remember that.
You know, that's real important, man. But
You have to fight for it.
But in the same breath, these rights protect you, man.
Right.
They protect you.
If you know them.
If
Because you
know
knew
them
better,
and
you could
if
do
you
what?
understand, man.
If you knew better, then what?
You know, tell them.
If you knew better, you could do better. So
You know,
a lot of this stuff sound far-fetched. We talking about the Civil War, 1812 and all that. But it's still applicable, meaning that it still applies to this day. So we at, you gotta excuse me, we at the third right. We getting ready to go into the Fourth Amendment, and that applies to a lot of people. If you in Walmart and you go out the door and they say, excuse me, miss or mister, we need to search you. You gotta know, you got a right to say, no, you don't. What is your probable cause? So we're gonna go into that after break. We're gonna break right now. Temporary, we're at the studio. We're at the studio with Polo. We thank him for hosting us in Brooklyn, New York. My voice is a little harsh, but y'all already know that. My brother is real passionate about this. So thank you for joining in with the Law Library with Ty. And we'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Law Library with Ty. The Law Library with Ty is TA, and I'm Ykim, TY. And what we're doing now is we're going through the amendments. The whole purpose of this podcast is to enlighten you guys out there in TV land, viewer land, whatever land, of your rights. So we left off, you gotta excuse my voice, we left off at the Third Amendment. So we're gonna pick back up at the Fourth Amendment, and I'm going to read it to you out of the pages of the United States Constitution. So here we go. Amendment 4, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers in effect against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, meaning under the penalty of perjury. Supported by oath or affirmation. That means you got to swear to that. Rats do it all the time, and they be lying. Anyway, and particularly describing the place to be searched, and this is real important because a lot of us have young men or women on parole, and they living in the house, and the PO coming in, it's a 3-bedroom house, they want to search every bedroom. No, you can't do that. The person that's on parole, you can only search that house. And then they turn around and use an excuse. Open view. Oh, I seen a gun on the table, an open view. So that's what the Fourth Amendment is talking about. And particularly describing the place to be searched. It's not grandma's room, grandfather's room. It's that person's room who the warrant is for. And the persons or things to be seized. It ain't what the rats say, oh, he got drugs, he got guns. No, which one is it? Drugs or guns or both? It depends on what you allow somebody to see in your business. I suggest you don't show nobody nothing. You heard me? So that's the Fourth Amendment. My brother's going to speak about that.
All right, first I just want to correct you on the open view. It's called plain view.
I said that.
You said open view, right? But that's here nor there. That you'll see it, but that's just a correction for the people, bro, right? Now, I specifically pulled out a case called Arizona versus Gant, right? And this is real important to the youth.
That's the Supreme Court, right?
This is real important to the youth, right? In Arizona versus Gant, a young man was arrested, handcuffed, and the police went on and searched his car.
Okay.
And he said they violated my Fourth Amendment rights.
At what point? By handcuffing them?
Talk, bro?
Yeah.
Because once you put me in handcuffs,
I'm under arrest.
could I explain this? Bro? Once you put me in handcuffs, I am no longer a threat to you. So if you want to go into my car, you have time to go get a warrant to search the car. And there's a lot of young black men in New York and around the country locked up because they didn't know that the police had to get a warrant to search the car.
So tell them the message.
See, the thing is, if you pull me over for a traffic violation,
Okay.
why does it turn into a full-blown search?
Most people don't know to say no.
You violating my rights. That's what you're doing.
What right?
What right are we dealing with?
The Fourth Amendment.
Okay.
Say it.
No. We said it already.
Okay, reiterate.
That we said it, right?
Yeah.
And that, you see, let me say this, right? We're teaching.
That's why I'm asking you to say it.
We're teaching, bro.
I
right?
agree.
And that we don't have to be redundant with this, right? That you said what you was dealing with, the Fourth Amendment. And it's my sincere hope and prayer that people are listening to us. And they say, that happened to me. That happened to my son. That happened to my daughter. You know, that's why we got case law to tell them about, right? Now, it happened to you before, the Fourth Amendment violation. What did you do?
I fought it.
What violation was it?
It was an illegal search and seizure.
Okay.
And I went to a suppression hearing. At that time, in Queens County Supreme Court, I won because I knew what to do.
Okay.
Everybody don't know what to do.
That's what I'm saying.
So I challenged it. So you get a chance to challenge. I mean, first of all, you got to know that you need to challenge something. You got to know it. And that's why we here.
You have to know you're being violated.
That's what I did.
That's
said
what
twice.
this. Okay, different verbiage or whatever.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have to know these rights.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
That if you don't know the Fourth Amendment right, then you don't know you're being violated.
So,
See, we was different. We knew the violation. You know, so we argued the violation. No, I'm not taking no time because you violated my Fourth Amendment right. And they went on and tried to scare us. And then you know what they do after that?
it didn't work with us.
Take 1 to 3.
Right.
I'm not taking nothing
Right.
because I know I've been violated.
All right.
I know. Go ahead.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what I suggest you to do, and you're learning this from the Law Library with Chai, punch up a copy of the United States Constitution on Google. You watch TikTok, you watch YouTube, you watch all these things. But go ahead and punch in what are your rights? What is the United States Constitution? And then you're going to see the same ones we're going to. We have 4, we're getting ready to go to 5. But if you punch it in, it's free information. And then if you got a problem, you contact us through Polo Studio, you heard me? So read it. You read everything else. You read the news, you read the weather. Yo, punch in the United States Constitution, and particularly your state constitution, whatever state you're in out there in listening land. Whatever state you're in, punch in your state constitution. And then you'll learn what we're talking about. It's not hard. You learn words to dances, all kind of nonsense, but this is serious, yo. This is your life. This is your freedom. Punch it in. Thank you. Go, bro.
You know, we dealing with the fifth now, right?
Yeah.
All right. Just let me say this before you even read that, right? Because I've recently learned this myself.
How long ago?
About 5-6 months ago, I think I called you and told you there's a case called Salinas versus Texas. SAL.
I think we had a case with
INAS or something like that. It's
Right.
Texas versus
Salina.
or Salina versus
the United States Supreme Court case. I remember that.
I thought
What?
for years I thought that just by you saying
The Fifth
I'm
Amendment
exercising my right
to remain
to
silent.
remain silent, I thought that was good enough.
It's not no more.
But it's not. In 2013, and I just read the case recently, but I remember it came out in 2013.
Yeah.
The court stated you have to
Particularly,
explicitly,
yeah. Okay.
you have to explicitly,
Say what you
almost like scream at the top of your lung, I want to exercise my right to remain silent. So, you know, and it messed me up because I said, damn, I thought this was an automatic right, but it's not. It's not. And the next case we're going to talk about, New York versus Quarles, deals with that, right?
A Fifth Amendment case?
A Fifth Amendment case.
Let me
man.
read the Fifth Amendment to you.
Okay, go ahead.
Excuse me. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution is this. No person shall be held to answer for a capital. Capital is an example of murder. That's the top. Murder, or what the Constitution say, capital, or otherwise infamous crime.
Infamous.
Right. Unless upon a presentation of indictment of a grand jury. In New York State, you got a right to appear before that grand jury. We'll talk about that. Except in cases arising in the land or naval forces. The land and naval forces is usually government property. I used the word before earlier, enclave. So that's government property, something that the government controls and not city or state. So, all right, naval forces or in the military, meaning the military. When in active service in time of war. We not in time of war. They knocked off Osama bin Laden and all these other people, and they trying to decide what they're going to do in Russia. So we are not in time of war. Or public danger. Public danger could be people with mental health issues, the people you see in front of Burger King, McDonald's, begging for money, talking to themselves all loud, that make the ordinary person scared. All right? So, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy. That means if you go to trial, you have to impanel a jury. Once you impanel the jury, and they do a voir dire, and the jury's impaneled, and if anything go wrong, it's called a mistrial. You cannot go back to trial again. All right, so put twice in jeopardy. That means your freedom or your life could be lost. So, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against itself. Somebody try to talk you into saying, did you have a gun? Did you have drugs? Did you hit the kid? Child abuse? Anything like that. You have the right to say, I got a right to remain silent. You don't have to say nothing. So you don't have to incriminate yourself. All right, being a witness against yourself. Shut up. Don't say nothing. Nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Now, a lot of that language you may not know, but I'm going to use a small example. Foreclosure. You might be behind on your mortgage, and they'll take your property, or they'll put you in foreclosure court, and they want your property, and they'll tell you, we give you $10,000 to get out in 30 days. That's what they mean by their taking your private property, and then they'll sell it on the courthouse step. That's public use. All right, so due process of law is you have a right to, if it's civil, like I just said, property, if it's criminal, where you could go to prison, or you have to pay money, you have a right to due process. Due process is when I say, yo, take me through the whole process. I don't got $200 to give you for back rent. Come on, let's go to court. Excuse me. So you got a right to due process. They're going to be like, yo, what are you talking about? You know how much this case going to cost? I wouldn't give a rat's butt. I wouldn't give a rat's butt. I want due process. Go all the way through the system. They don't want that. But you have a right to that. So just remember that. If anything I miss, call back and let me know. We at Polo Studio. You heard me? My brother getting ready to go now. Go.
All right, first let me just touch on, because you did miss something.
Yeah, what?
The Fifth Amendment says
Right here.
that you
Which
have
part?
the right to be free from double jeopardy.
I said that. When you're in
Okay,
panel
well-
of jury,
Listen, I'm not here to argue, right?
it's not an argument.
And I
can
just
play it
want to
back.
say, in the Fifth Amendment, it states you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against
I
you.
think that's the opening sentence.
And it's real important that we get our young brothers and sisters to understand this, because what happens is when they come in contact with the police and the police reads them their rights and everything, and then they turn right around to them and say, now do you want to talk to us? And they say yes, right?
Right.
That's the Fifth Amendment, right? But what we need to explain to them, anything you say can and will be used against you.
Actually, that's not even in the Fifth Amendment.
No,
Go
it's,
ahead.
but that's what governs it, right?
Go ahead, yeah.
Under Miranda.
Right. That's the Supreme Court case.
All the cases I'm speaking of are Supreme Court
Right.
cases, right? It's real important to know, don't sell your freedom for a cigarette,
A soda.
burger, a soda. When they offer you these things, 9 times out of 10 is to get your DNA.
So can I please just say this? Don't touch nothing. Don't touch. Like you see me, I'm drinking water, I'm drinking soda. If they come in and offer you that in the room, if you're underage, I'm going to say 16, don't touch nothing. I want my mother, I want my father, I want my caretaker. If you over 16, don't touch on nothing. Because when you touch on it, that's your DNA. Oh, would you like a cigarette? You smoke Newports? That's the trick. I agree with my brother with that. So don't touch nothing. You just got to go hard for a little while.
There's a friend I got, right?
Yeah.
He got 23 years in prison right now. The only
For what?
evidence they had against him
What's his own DNA?
was a cigarette butt at the scene of the crime.
Wow.
A cigarette butt at the scene. He got 23 years in right now. He's still fighting for his freedom, right? And it sounds ludicrous that you would give a man life imprisonment because a cigarette butt was there. I walk
It's
down,
evidence to
I
them.
walk down the street smoking
And freely
and
throw
I
'em
throw
away.
a cigarette. Now, if a crime happens
At that location,
in that close proximity,
they coming looking for your
and
ass.
you find the cigarette, right? You could go to jail. I could go to jail. Right?
That's why I keep everything in my car.
It's so important, man, to know these rights, right? Even this New York versus Quarles, right? If you ask me, they
What is it about?
violated the Fifth Amendment in this here.
What type of case is that?
This was a robbery case, I believe it was.
How they catch up with?
I'm getting ready to tell you. It says, oh, this was a gun case.
Oh,
And what it states is, after receiving the description of Quarles, an alleged assailant, a police officer entered a supermarket spotted him and ordered him to stop. Quarles stopped and was frisked by the officer. Upon detecting an empty shoulder holster, the officer asked Quarles where his gun was. Quarles responded, "The gun's over there." Right?
Come on.
No.
He
This
told him
happened.
himself.
No, he did not.
If he responded, gun over
No,
there.
he did not. And it's real important you understand this, man. When that cop stopped him, stop, you was no longer free to move. You remember you spoke about
Fourth
liberty,
Amendment under arrest.
liberty,
Yeah.
freedom.
Yeah.
Right. So when the cop said stopped and he stopped, and the cop put his hands behind his back, he was officially under arrest.
Did he put cuffs on him?
Cuffs was on him.
What's it?
So he should have been what? Read
Miranda rights.
his Miranda right.
Right.
Right? But he didn't do it. So now they go to court. Should the court suppress Carl's statement about the gun and the gun itself because the officer had failed at the time to read him his Miranda rights?
Rights. Yeah.
And the conclusion was a 5-4 decision for New York. No, the court held that there is a public safety exception to the requirement that officers issue Miranda warnings to suspects.
What's this exception?
It's called the safety exception.
That's what they use on that boy
It's
in the
called the
Bronx.
safety, and that's why I said I think they violated the Fifth Amendment with this one.
Okay, so what was the end result?
Quarles went to jail.
So they violated him.
He went to jail, right?
Right. That happens
And
all the time.
that I told you, even knowing these rights, you can still be violated,
Right.
man. And they don't go by the law. Listen, man, there's more innocent people of color in jail than anything else.
Oh, guess what?
You know,
I've been there with them, so I know.
they just let a guy go in Jefferson County, Alabama.
After 40,
He did
43, 46,
something like that. I
40
can't remember the
yeah, I
exact
do.
amount. Of
40,
years.
40 something, 40 plus years.
You know, that I got a friend, a brother. He's not a friend, he's a brother. He's a little older than me. I grew up with him. He got 45 years in prison come September of this year. August? Is it August?
Oh, yeah,
He got
August.
45 years in.
I go visit him every
He's
chance I
been
can.
professing his innocence for years, for 45 years.
Could never get that case overturned, yo.
You know, like it's almost like every other day we hear about people being released who didn't do these crimes, right?
We hear about people being released who did do crimes.
Yeah, you're right about that. You know, I got a friend. Well, I wouldn't say a friend, but somebody who I know I met through Rackett's Island back in the 80s. He was just released. He just got a reversal after 35 years. Baby Sam, he just got a reversal.
Baby Sam out of Brooklyn.
Yeah. It was just proven that the cop who testified against him,
Scalelli, what's his name?
Scarcella,
Garcia. Oh,
Louis Scarcella,
I know you. Okay.
and he's responsible
For numerous
for
people.
numerous people who
In
have
prison.
done 20, 25,
More
30
than that.
years.
Yeah.
This cop lied on all these people. The police lied.
That's true.
And I need to let the public know this. They are not your friends, man. They are not your friends.
I beg to differ.
That when they come, they trying to get you to say something against somebody.
Yourself. But not all the time.
Not just against you.
Okay.
Look, that there's a
Go ahead, I'm
small
finished.
percentage of police officers that do the right thing. A small percentage.
That's
right?
what I was going to talk about.
That they, to me, the police is the biggest gang in the United States.
Of
The
course.
last number I heard was they 880,000 strong, and they are in a gang called the Fraternity of
Blue. Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, like, it's crazy, and I really hate to even say this, but it's been my experience that when they come, they're not there to administer justice. They're there. If I was to call the police right now and say it's a black man here acting crazy, 10 cars would come.
Yeah, looking for an opportunity to put his lights out. Yeah.
10 cars would come.
Right.
We just witnessed a crime in Buffalo. 10 or 13 people lost their lives. And when the police got there, the shooter still had the rifle in his hand.
What color was he?
He was white.
Oh.
And do you know what they said? Could you drop the weapon? Could you turn around, put your hands behind your back? And then a week later, 10 days later,
in Texas,
a Mexican goes into a school in Texas, kill a bunch of children. And when the police came and they finally reacted,
yeah, they killed him.
They blew his brains out.
All right. So that's the prejudice in the system.
No, but it's serious though, bro, right? Because I've never heard of a black cop shooting a
white boy.
Kid.
They're not going to do it.
I've never had it seemed like so far this year, I think we had 213 shootings of white police officers
against people of color.
And
how many the other way
and
around?
Don't quote me on this, that you can Google it, but I'm quite sure I read it.
All right.
So this is what we're here for, is to teach. Because we need to know these things. That you got grandchildren.
That I just met.
Who live in the state of Florida, right?
Yeah, that's nobody's business.
Where, no.
It's all right. Go ahead.
Serious. Because
I just said it's all right.
They killed Trayvon Martin.
Down in Florida.
In the state of Florida.
Right.
And do you know what the defense was?
Black man with a hood.
I'm standing on my ground.
Oh, down on your ground. That's the law down here.
I'm standing on
We don't have that
ground.
in New York.
We don't have that here. But see, us teaching this is not just about New York.
No, we doing all states.
Then I'm going to talk about Alabama. I'm going to talk about South Carolina, Iowa. The United States Supreme Court governs
all of those places.
All these places.
Right. So what I'm gonna say is, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Law Library with Ty. We ended off on the Fifth Amendment. When we come back, all that stuff you heard that go wrong is put on what they call counsel, your lawyer. Whether it's a court-appointed lawyer, we'll get into that. Whether your family mortgage the house and get you a private lawyer, we'll get into that. So these rights are supposed to be protected by counsel, lawyers. Like I said, private, court-appointed, whatever. But me and my brother learned at some point in time, we have to stick up for ourselves. I did it in a federal drug case with 40 kilos of cocaine, United States versus Coleman. In South Carolina, I went back. I got time off. My case is in the book, 191 Fed 3rd, page 420. My brother case is in the book as well. Site
687 New York State, 2nd page.
Come on, man.
I want to say 657. People versus Charles Gorman.
Okay, People versus Charles Gorman, United States versus Mark Comey. We do this shit for real, you heard me? So, we have Polo Studio. We thank the brother, we big him up, his girl, his wife. And this is the Law Library with Ty. Get back to us, you heard me? Episode 3. Oh, I'm not even naming episodes, but we left off at the 5th Amendment. We're coming back at the 6th Amendment, the Law Library with Ty. Thank you. Love you. Peace out.
Peace.